Boy, it's good to be here. I'm Dominic D'Angelo. It's a Thursday. It is Rumor and Innuendo. I'm of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, and Brass Ring Media. Per usual, I'm here with Mr. Robert Karplis, WE Creative _ish. Yesterday, we had a little bit of technical difficulties, / I couldn't make it to the show, / I'm a mess. Robert, how are you today?
Yesterday was probably our best show ever. It was wall to wall, top to bottom, some of the finest analysis you're ever going to hear in all of wrestling. I encourage you to go check it out now, where it was just me yelling loudly because Dom didn't have the system configured and it wasn't working, and our friends at Ad Free Shows were unable to assist.
Yes, so here we are. We are back today, and we're ready to talk a little bit of a beach break. And was it a break for you, Robert, in regards to maybe us being critical of AEW, or where do you think that lies here?
We're never critical of AEW. I think we all hope for the best for them. I think that
Absolutely.
What happens sometimes is they lose focus, or they veer into directions that they don't need to do. And what we saw last night on AEW Dynamite, for the most part, was them zeroing in on the talent that needs that attention, the people that you can really build a brand and a company around. And that's kind of what we've been angling and hoping for them to get to. You know, there's a lot of really talented wrestlers out there. There's a lot of talented wrestlers on the AEW roster, but they don't get a lot of focus. They don't get a lot of attention. So when they do pop up, it becomes distracting. You, for the most part, did not really have that on Dynamite last night.
No, you had some returning faces in regards to, hey, we haven't seen these people in a while. They've been on the roster forever, but here they are. But overall, I thought it was balanced out in a pretty intriguing way that perpetuated some storytelling, and that did create a little bit of interest and everything like that. And it wasn't that albatross that has been the Death Riders didn't feel much like an albatross last night as it usually did. Or am I mistaken on that, Robert? You feel different?
We'll get there.
Okay.
How's that?
Let's say hi to some folks in the chat here. Wrestling Old Ed said, "What a great episode of R&I chat yesterday. Dom and Robert, you missed an exciting 30 minutes of brainstorming." I did hear quite a bit about the chat that was going on yesterday because I forgot to delete the show that was scheduled. And so people were just lingering around waiting for nothing to come. We're waiting for Godot, which was me.
Which is coming back to Broadway, by the way.
Oh, is it really? Oh, yeah. Who's in it? Isn't it Bill and Ted?
It's Bill and Ted.
That's awesome. Dre Owens thought the cage match last night was awesome until the finish. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. And Johnny Disco says, "I'll have to catch the replay later. Have a nice day. See you later, Johnny. Disco it up somewhere." And Ron Ward says, "Damn it, Dom, you deleted yesterday's chat. And after all the fun we had, we even kept the sponsors happy. Thank you." Thank you. All right. Hey, let's continue to keep you guys happy as we cover AEW Dynamite. Robert, it kicked off with Will Ospreay tagging up with Hangman Page against Josh Alexander and Takeshita. This was a hell of a match, Robert. Hell of a match.
This was a barn burner and a half. This was a lot of fun. This was, tag team partners who don't like each other.
Yep.
Which was a Vince Russo special for years.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness gracious. It was a Vince Russo special for years. The four of these guys absolutely tore it up. There were those moments of almost tension. There was the almost hidden blade hit and the look on Hangman's face. So that was a tremendous amount of fun. Josh Alexander looked great out there. Another good spotlight for him, even if they find that he's the guy that they can just beat like a drum.
Yeah. They protected him in certain ways with that double time finish that happened. But yeah, I thought
in AEW world, wins and losses count more because they use the record, but they matter a lot less. Tony is a little less precious about beating people, and then they immediately spring back and they're fine. The fact there was a post-match attack, it was okay. I thought that Ospreay looked incredible. Hangman looked good. It was a great opportunity for that Chicago crowd to kind of get used to them being the faces of the brand. And there were definitely some moments in there where you looked at Will Ospreay and you're like, he can't miss.
No, no. I thought the tension between Hangman Page and Osprey, but yet the alliance at the same time, it created a lot of fun for an opener of a match that all these guys are super athletic. And this was a picture of what AEW is really, really good at. And I think, though, when you take a step back and you look at it from an all-encompassing thing, you think about, man, if Tony legitimately had production meetings, everything would be a lot more smooth sailing in regards to everything involved. But
completely agree, and I think that tends to be the source of my frustration with AEW to some extent, that they really put on spectacular matches. They have really great wrestlers. There just isn't that extra follow through. There's a lot of damn it, Dom, in what they do. And I think that's what drives me nuts, because it's an easy fix. It really is a simple adjustment, tweak here and there. And he has a lot of the most brilliant minds in the history of wrestling under his umbrella. You've got a guy like Dean Malenko, who is an all-time producer. You've got a guy like Tony Schiavone, who obviously understands what needs to be done from a commentary standpoint, from an overall production standpoint. Mike Mansouri spent years in WWE, and a lot of people thought he was going to be the guy who was going to get the keys to the kingdom when Kevin Dunn left. So he was a hell of a snag. And then you got Taz out there, who, I mean, to be able to crack that guy's skull open and learn what he knows would be invaluable. And Dom, if only there was another opportunity this week to get to hear Taz talk.
That's right, guys. If you haven't heard, tonight, One of a Kind with RVD, me and Rob will be welcoming Taz on the show to honor the legacy and the life of Sabu. So be sure to join us at rvdtv.com or on Rob Van Dam's YouTube channel. But we'll be going live at 9:15, chatting it up with Taz and sharing some great memories, and I'm sure some great stories and insight from both these guys who loved Sabu very, very much. I'm very excited to be a part of it, despite the circumstances. So be sure to catch it tonight here on rvdtv.com.
By the way, big drop in here on the chat for Mr. Kevin Kellum with
Yes.
a damn it, Dom, as Kevin was lined up yesterday to be the guest co-host with myself. And yeah, appreciate Kevin for willing to pitch in. It would have been a lot of fun, but alas, here we are. And look, I was ready to go. I didn't have a leg to stand on, which brings us to our next match.
Yeah, Zach Gowen taking on Ricochet. Also, a very fun match. Robert, part of my exception that I've been taking with AEW in recent years has been what they referred to back in the day when it came to the ice cream variety. Cody Rhodes was a big proponent of that for what you got on the show. A lot of this stuff, while there's so much athleticism and younger talent and everything like that being put on a pedestal in AEW, there isn't a lot of variety, it seems, sometimes from the match standpoint. This kind of added a little bit more, considering Zach Gowen and what he's going through, obviously, through life. But I thought this was fun. This was fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of good old school heel heat on the part of Ricochet, where you're picking on a one-legged man. You're coming out with his prosthetic leg. There was enough hope spots, and then in the end, Ricochet getting the win. And look, it was great to see Zach Gowen out there. And I would imagine, given Zach Gowen's situation, it's probably problematic for him, Dom.
What's that, Robert?
Finding the right pair of jeans.
That can be tough.
That can be tough. And let's be real, guys. Most jeans weren't made with you in mind. You of the two-leg variety. So you can imagine what a guy with one leg's got to be dealing with. But if you're a bigger guy, you got some meat on the bones, or you got some different proportional issues, maybe missing a limb. You flip through like a dozen pair of jeans at the store to find maybe one or two in your size. You end up settling for one that technically fits. Even if it's not particularly comfortable, it's too tight in the thighs or too stiff in the waist or saggy. You don't like the color. You don't like the cut. Guess what? Perfect Jean erases all of that. The great thing about these guys, they have a ton of different fits, washes, waist sizes. You're going to get the right color. You're going to get the right texture. You're going to get the right pair of jeans for you. And we're going to make it even easier for you because it's finally time to stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans. Go to theperfectjean.nyc. Our listeners, our viewers get 15% off your first order plus free shipping. You get free returns and free exchanges when you use that code rumor15 at checkout. That's what's most important. It comes to the house, you open it up, you try them on. If there's anything about it that doesn't fit perfectly, send it back, get an exchange, try something different. Could not be easier. Again, that's 15% off for new customers at theperfectgene.nyc with promo code rumor15. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. This was suggested because the word they use here is an F word that we don't use. And someone in the chat suggests that I replace that profanity with the word Marcus. So you can Marcus your khakis and get the perfect gene.
Perfect, Robert.
As Eric Maroon says right here, finally, jeans for people with two legs.
Yes, thank goodness. Long overdue. Robert.
What?
Also, long overdue. We happen to have the Hurt Syndicate and Top Flight. They go 2-on-2 with one another, and it's Hurt Syndicate that gets the win. We get a little mix up with Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara. They come out as well. We also get Leo Rush and Action Andretti on the microphone, nonetheless. But we also get MJF and the Hurt Syndicate.
I love that you just do nonetheless in there for no reason, like, as if you're like ChatGPT and it's just adding words that it thinks humans. You might be ChatGPT.
You just don't know. I'm inaccurate a lot of the time, so I could be.
You are inaccurate, though. I did see a very disturbing picture on Facebook of you with hair.
Yes.
Don't like it. Mm-hmm. I don't like it. I don't want to see. You know what's also disturbing and weird? I have a double jointed thumb.
What?
Wow. It's really unnerving. It's called hitchhiker's
Look at
thumb.
That thing.
Both hands. I can't do a regular thumbs up. And if I position this just right, this looks wildly inappropriate.
It really does. Oh my gosh. Blue Chew.
Fine. You know what? I was going to segue to it somewhere clever later, but you know what? Let's just do it right now. Guys, if you're worried about your true hitchhiker's thumb, you can have better sex with Blue Chew. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets. These erection-enhancing tablets help men achieve stronger, harder, and longer-lasting erections for sexual activity. Blue Chew is putting its money where its mouth is and offering you a month free. Process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the US of A. Take that, tariffs, and they are prepared and shipped directly to your door. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The best part, it's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. MJF is now a member of the Hurt Syndicate. And if you want to head up your own Hurt Syndicate, make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. We've got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month of Blue Chew free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo.
Yes, thank you, Blue Chew. Thank you. Hey, were you thankful that MJF is actually in the Hurt Syndicate? Did you like that, Robert?
We haven't gotten to the Festival of Friendship. That's still next week.
That is next week, right?
Also, for what it's worth. Mm-hmm. So MJF brought out his lawyer.
Yes.
Smart Mark Sterling.
Yes.
I have it on good authority.
Oh.
There have been other legal representatives of MJF in canon in the past who would have been perfect for that role here. But unfortunately not a part of All Elite Wrestling. So Smart Mark Sterling.
Give it attorney?
No. What's he going to do? Show up and file a patent? No. No. Mark Sterling is the closest you're going to come to seeing Robert Karpelis on AEW TV. But with at least I still have, what hair I have left, it still has the proper color. Hey. And not quite as weirdly into toys as Mark Sterling is.
Hey, speaking of, I was at Target yesterday. I happened to see a big Lego set that you could build the DeLorean from Back to the Future with. And I
get the hell out of Dodge. I would love that. We were at the Lego store with the kids over the weekend on Mother's Day. I walked around the mall, and don't go to the mall on Mother's Day. That is just a sea of sad men trying to scramble last minute for gifts. It's amazing. But we went into the Lego store. They have from the X-Men cartoon, the mansion, which is amazing. but it was like $300.
My God.
Dude, I remember as a kid wanting the Ninja Turtle Technodrome, and that was
Yes.
like $49.99. There was like, yeah, that's not happening.
No.
$300 for a Lego set.
Dude, as MJF would say, I was a poor when I was younger. And so I never got Legos. We never got Legos. They were too expensive and stuff like that. And now it's like they're very expensive, but they have all the trademarks to everything now. And I want them. I want Legos now. Hey,
I want to see how you segue this into the women's 4-way.
How do we segue into this?
I'm just watching. I'm just sitting and watching.
We had Mina Shirakawa actually win an eliminator match against Toni Storm, who's I guess been undefeated in eliminator matches, which was a statistic I didn't really care about, but she's there and looks like they're going down at Double or Nothing. Robert, what do you think of this?
Way to not phrase that the way you just did.
Uh-oh.
They're going to go down at Double or Nothing. Can we
Toni Storm would appreciate it.
Yeah. Nice to see Sky Blue was back.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know where she was. I don't know if she was injured or just they forgot about her. Fine women's 4-way match. Mina Shirakawa getting the win made a lot of sense. Setting up her versus Toni Storm at Double or Nothing is a totally fine match. And then you had Mercedes Moné attacking Azuma.
Yes.
AZM. That's how it was in the notes. Oh. Azuma.
Akuma from Street Fighter.
I was going for Zima, the delicious early 90s flavored drink. There was one dude in my fraternity who once got caught drinking Zima once. Ooh. To this day, never lived it down.
I think I had a Zima once, maybe.
I can see that. That's what stunted your growth.
Is that what it was? I think
very possible. There was a nice little Sabu Taz tribute. This is where I was going to plug the Taz of it all, but we already got there. We already did that. Nigel McGuinness was in the ring. I love Nigel. Nigel's a great dude. He's always been very, very supportive of my social media account. And believe it or not, a tremendous close-up magician.
He is. He's a good magician. Did he do some magic here, Robert, for you?
I was going to get to it. And Daddy Magic showed up here, but you went your way. Yeah, this was a fine little promo to get him and Danny Garcia. Stokely looked great in that weird jumpsuit. Any opportunity to use Stokely Hathaway, I'm always going to be a fan of. And we got the FTR and then Daddy Magic coming out. A lot of stuff going on in this segment, Dom. This was if I can get this sponsored, it was definitely a hat on a hat kind of moment.
Oh yes, a little bit there, a little bit. Hey, but then we did have a main event, Robert. It was Jon Moxley.
Every show is theoretically going to have a main event. It's going to have a final segment.
That's a fair point, fair argument here. We did have Jon Moxley defending his AEW World Championship against Samoa Joe in a steel cage. And wow, a lot of chicanery going down here. And it ended up with Gabe Kidd doing the ultimate chicanery by sliding in that briefcase and allowing Jon Moxley to smack Samoa Joe with it and get the W.
There's that thing in my brain where you use the word chicanery, which you don't typically use, and then you used it wrong twice, so I couldn't.
Did I really?
It's chicanery, not chicanery. By the way, sounds like it would be some sort of Salon article about feminism gone awry.
Oh, it does.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This was a fine steel cage match because, again, kids, Samoa Joe knows how to wrestle.
Yes.
And Jon Moxley knows how to bleed like a stuck pig.
Yes.
Put it together. In a steel cage, first ever steel cage match for the AEW World Title.
Wow!
They said that on Dynamite, like, "Oh, it's the first time the AEW World Title has been defended in a salad steel cage."
Wow, a salad steel cage?
Yeah, that was a Pritchardism.
Oh,
again, we're part of the ad-free shows world. We're pretending that we're all in the same. I was texting with Comrade the other day. By the way, this is a fun little preview for y'all. Interesting things coming up next month for Rumor and Innuendo. We may have a new segment debuting next month. It's in the works. That's what the kids call a teaser, Dom. And they teased for about a half a second who was the masked man in the hoodie, and then it was like, oh, it's just Gabe Kidd.
Very yes. I appreciated it when WWE would just like point out the obvious, like, oh, we know who that guy in the hood is. Joe Tessitore did that a couple times, and AEW didn't do it They're like, who is that? We can't figure
By
it
the
out.
way,
Oh,
the guy in that guy in the hood was making a difference, Fatu, because he was
Yep,
cleaning up the hood.
that's it. That's it. But yeah, so Gabe Kidd is going to be an element in this main event profile storyline between the Elite and the Death Riders and the Ops. Uh, are you a Gabe Kidd fan? How do you feel about him? He's not very well promoted yet.
I really liked that one match that he had against Kenny Omega. It was kind of my first time really seeing him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was floored at the complete lack of follow-up with it. You know,
Yeah.
he wins this pretty big high-profile match, and then nothing. That was a little frustrating because I was like, this guy is really on a major stage. In fact, they had him on AEW TV at some point. I believe he was on a Collision.
Yes.
Didn't really do anything.
Mm-hmm. And he is like the fusion of Kyle O'Reilly and Conor McGregor. I feel. Right? You see that? Am I wrong?
I guess to me he looks like if Carl Anderson went in the hot tub time machine.
Oh,
But either way, there sure seem to be a lot of people for this Anarchy in the Arena match. So I'm not quite sure who it's ultimately going to be because you do have Okada.
yep.
You've got John Moxley. You've got Claudio Castagnoli. You've got Gabe Kidd. You've got the Young Bucks.
Yes.
You've got Marina Shafir.
Yep.
You've got Yuta, theoretically.
Oh, yes,
Wheeler Yuta. Billy Yuta's there. So that's 8 people sitting on one side of that situation. And then on the other side, there's I'm like Norm Macdonald said, hey, there's Swerve. You seen Swerve? There is Swerve, Joe, Kenny Omega, Willow Nightingale,
good gal,
Hobbs,
very powerful.
And then there's like so I think Shibata's hurt, Hook is hurt.
Hook. Yep.
Whatever it is, Anarchy in the Arena.
Nah.
I can't be doing all this. Don't make that noise again. That again, there's headphones here.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, thank you. Look, it should be a fun, well-produced, goofy match for this show where they know, hey, the main event is really going to be Hangman versus Ospreay. So let's just let a bunch of people fight in whatever the rules for Anarchy in the Arena are going to be.
Which there are no rules. Wrestling Old Head has a suggestion. I feel like the addition of Gabe Kidd to Anarchy in the Arena is to set up the return of Eddie Kingston, who was injured during a match with Gabe Kidd.
I would be thrilled for the return of Eddie Kingston.
Yes.
I think that would be a blast. That's a great idea. Wrestling? That's why because he's old.
Yes, and his name is Wrestling. So yeah, Robert. So
Pretty
overall,
sure it's not his legal name.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
Let's ask the gimmick attorney.
Why are you trying to bring Dawkins into this? We got enough lawyers on this. We got too many lawyers on this show.
I need a law team for myself. I'm a mess, Robert. I need all the help I can get.
Well, you're clearly a member of the full-blooded Italians.
That's right. I wore the shirt to work today, and somebody was like, I thought that was a full body inspector shirt on, and then I got really self-conscious.
Female body inspector, by the way.
That's it.
Full body inspector just sounds odd. Like something happened to that person.
Like I'm a proctologist or something.
You're an ass man, like Cosmo Kramer. Hey, I'm just trying to wrap up the show, Dom, and you just won't let me do it. You keep interrupting.
Well, let's touch upon this real quick. This pertains.
Oh, you had another news story?
Yeah, I had this for yesterday, but obviously we didn't do the show.
I mean, I did the show. No one watched it because it wasn't there.
Oh, you just did it by yourself.
I just yelled blankly at my dog and explained to him, "Do you want me to explain NXT to you?"
Marty appreciated it, I'm sure.
He did not.
Well, Ospreay, AEW might appreciate what Ospreay had to say about them because he said AEW would smoke WWE. This was in a recent interview with Josh Martinez of Z100 on Superstar Crossover.
Who?
I don't know, but I just wanted to do the journalistic thing and credit the source.
Is Dom taking subtle shots at people who don't credit him?
Yes, that's right. because we smoked them in every field of wrestling, mate. We're just better. Like, I respect them. I respect every single one of them there. They're all vets. They all know what they're doing. They're great at their job. They understand getting people on their feet, but we are so much more of a better wrestling company than them. Our guys smoke them every single day of the week. They got good guys like Gunther. They've got great guys like Randy Orton. They've got good guys like Chad Gable. I respect all of them, but on our worst day, we smoke all of you guys. Seems like kind of friendly competition kind of thing going on, or do you think that's some contradictory things for Will Ospreay to do?
It's friendly competition where you're trying to, like, he's clearly trying to take on the mantle of, I'm the AEW guy and I'm going to pull this company up and I'm going to make noise so people pay attention to it. But at the end of the day, you're playing with two different sets of rules.
Mm-hmm.
So in the WWE world, if they wanted to let some of these guys just go out there, hey, you go have a 25-minute banger, do whatever it is that you want to do, tear it up. There's plenty of guys in the roster that can go ahead and do that. That's not how they operate. That's not what they're going to go and really do, or what their product is. It's why Vince always said WWE is sports entertainment as opposed to wrestling.
Right.
If it was just going to be, hey, we're going to give you a 30-minute classic, yeah, they could go ahead and do that. They've got the guys on the roster to be able to assemble that. Might not necessarily make them a multi-billion-dollar company.
Mm-hmm.
It was the argument I used to hear all the time during my tenure at WWE, where TNA was just crushing us because TNA had Joe and AJ and Daniels, and then they brought in Kurt, and you had America's Most Wanted, and they're like, they're putting all these great matches. Or I would hear ad nauseum during my time in WWE, my God, Ring of Honor. Every match is a 13-star classic. Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness and CM Punk. You got to see these matches. It's going to change your life. But they're playing to a much smaller audience because there's a niche audience that loves that kind of an in-ring product. And I would consider myself someone who absolutely loves a great in-ring product. Yeah. But when you're playing to the masses, it becomes a different story. It's the same way you can equate it to the box office, where you can make an independent film that wins an Independent Spirit Award and becomes a beloved Criterion Collection classic, which would sit on my shelf. Or you could make a movie that makes billions of dollars.
Right. One or the other right there a lot of the time.
Thank you, Antonio Santos, who says, I know I'm late, but did Robert have a fight with the sun?
Whoa.
This is what happens when you live in Florida, man, and you're out all day, doing laps and enjoying the weather. It's 89 degrees right now in beautiful South Florida. You're gonna get tan. You're gonna get a little burnt in some. But yes, I've got I surprisingly tan well when I'm actually out in the sun. Problem is usually I'm trapped indoors watching 9-hour-long AEW pay-per-views, which we'll be doing next week. This week, today, wrapping up Rumor and Innuendo. We will be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative_ISHX account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, the @SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo, ad-free shows and Working Stiff. Speaking of Working Stiff, my co-host Scott Chaplin and I will be recording at 3 o'clock Eastern today for all of our takes in the world of wrestling. So, Dom, keep an eye out for that. Dom will have it up later on this afternoon. If it's not up later this afternoon, feel free to send all your hate tweets to @Dominic D'Angelo. So on behalf, what the hell was that? On behalf of the full body inspector, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karfelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors. Now turn and cough.
Tommy Rich.